Welcome everyone, my name is Dan from Dan's Test Prep. Today we have a little bit of a special session since we're doing October SAT Prep. October SAT is this Saturday on the 7th, and I want you guys to all be prepared. Who here is taking the SAT this week? Give me a message in the chat. Not me, not me. Dang. Are you guys ready to take the SAT soon? Sweet. Okay, so yeah, like I mentioned, my name is Dan. The way this session is going to work for today, this special session, is we're going to go over specifically SAT math questions. Um, while you guys wait, or even after the session, check out my Explore page, explore.danstestprep.com. I have a newsletter, social media, and other helpful resources to get you guys ready for these tests. This session, like I mentioned, it's only SAT questions. It's going to start off easy, progressively get harder. So it'll ramp up over time. Let's go ahead and get started. First question here says the function f is defined by f of x equals 2x plus 6. What is the graph of f of x? Alright guys, this one should be not too bad. We know that it has a positive slope. Make my pen here a little bit smaller. We have a positive slope, and we have a positive intercept. So of course we can rule out something like b, like c, and like d. Those all have negative slopes. They're all trending downwards. So right away we can even get this should be answer choice A. Easy. Moving on to number 5 here. The graph of the quadratic function f is shown, where y equals f of x. Which of the following could be the graph of y equals f of x plus 2? Okay, so I see the plus 2 is outside of the f of x. So this is a external shift, or a shift in the y. Let's call that a y shift. Whatever the value of f of x is, we add 2 to the resulting y value. So what I'd say is that we want to shift this one upwards, all these points. The only one that looks like it goes up, if it's below that axis, it goes above the axis or on the axis, looks like answer choice A. Something like C, it flips it completely. B and D shift it horizontally, but we just want to shift it vertically. Pretty easy to start off. Let's go ahead and do our next one. The function q is defined by q of x equals 5 times negative 1 to the power x, where x is an integer. What is the value of q of 6? So guys, if you're taking the SAT, you need to know about function notation. So q of 6 just means that we're evaluating the function q of x when x equals 6. This is q of x when x equals 6. So we're going to take q of 6 equals 5 times negative 1 to the power of 6. And that's 5 times 1, which is 5. Of course, negative 1 to an even power is going to be positive 5. Alright, what do we got next? Number 9. Number 9. In the figure shown, triangle ABC is similar to triangle ADE, such that B corresponds to D and C corresponds to E. I think we can all kind of see that from the figure. The measure of angle ABC is 60. ABC is 60, so B is a central angle there, and 60 degrees right up here. I see we got an answer already, and someone's saying D. What is the measure of angle ADE? It is in fact D. And why is that true? Well, let's see. We know that these two triangles are similar, right? So angle D here should correspond to angle B. They are similar. In similar triangles, you always have a pair of equal or corresponding angles. And in this case, if you scale up triangle ADE, you're going to get to triangle ABC. keep on moving. We've got some harder questions in the next row here. Question number 10. The graph models the relationship between the area of a rainforest A in square miles and the predicted number of flowering plant species P found in that area. What equation represents this relationship? This one's not too bad. I mean, we can figure out the slope pretty easily, and there's no intercept because it passes through 0, intercept 0. So what I can do is just take a couple of easy points, and it seems like this one's nice right here, or this one right here. Actually, this one's a little bit better for like mental math. I can see that it's about 37,000, say 500. And it's at x equals to 100. I see a lot of conflicting answers in our chat. So the slope should be the y value divided by the x value, which in this case is just going to be 375. That's our slope. And I see one answer choice that matches up to that, which is that p is equal to 375a. So that should be answer choice B here. See, community submitted problem. Let me paste that in underneath here, and we'll come back to it a little bit later. Feel free to submit your guys' questions in the meantime. So let's get through all of our standard questions here. This is all from the October 2022 SAT, by the way, an actual released exam. So if you guys are practicing for 2023, you guys are in good shape. Number 11 says the given equation relates the numbers p and n, where n is not equal to 0 and p is greater than 3. Which equation correctly expresses n in terms of p? Guys, if you're taking the SAT, you need to know this term. Which equation correctly expresses n in terms of p? N in terms of p just means n equals to something p. Something p. And if I solve this, I mean, I can rearrange this to be p minus 3 is equal to 2 over n, and multiply, or I guess from here, I would take the reciprocal of everything, or cross multiply n onto this side, cancel out n from here, and then divide by p minus 3. Divide by p minus 3. So in all in all, we get n equals 2 over p minus 3. Whoever said C will be correct. Okay, we can move on to our next one, which is question number 12. You got a question about the last one. Okay, let me go back really quick. Why did I do p minus 3? Well, I subtracted 3 from both sides up here to isolate the 2 over n. And then I take the reciprocal, basically multiplied n onto the other side, and divided by p minus 3 to get the final n equals 2 over p minus 3. Let's see. Alright. Let's go on next question number 12. In the given system of equations, p is a constant. The system has no solution. What is the value of p? I think you guys should be able to solve this pretty easily. We want p to be such that the system has no solution. To have no solution basically just means that the lines would be parallel to each other. Definitely remember this for the SAT. No solution for a system of equations means parallel lines, which means same slope. If I want them to have the same slope, that's going to be, well, the first one has a slope of 3, so I know that p has to equal 3, which is answer choice D. Not too bad. "13" looks a little bit tricky. This one will be fun. Says, which of the following expressions is equal to the given expression where x is greater than or equal to 0 and y is greater than or equal to 0? Alright. What I'll do is just distribute the square root of x into both of these terms. Right, square root of x multiplies into both of these, distributes into both of these. So we get square root of x times square root of x plus square root of x times square root of y. I see chat's kind of going off right now. So square root of x times square root of x is going to be equal to x. And then when we have two square roots multiplied underneath, or two things under square root and multiply the square roots together, we can actually multiply them under the same root, combine them. Right, so we're going to get x plus square root of xy, and that's exactly answer choice A. All right. On that last one, by the way, we had p equals 3 because we want to make this equation parallel to the other equation. I think it's getting a little bit tricky now. Number 19 here. If the given expression is rewritten in the form ax to the fifth plus bx to the fourth plus cx to the third plus dx squared plus ex, where a, b, c, d, and e are all constants, what is the value of d? I mean, it seems really tricky. It doesn't really have to be. I see someone in the chat has got it. We want to factor, combine like terms. Yeah. What I know is that the dx squared, or the coefficient of d, is going to be on my x squared terms. So really, we could multiply this out, or we could even multiply just the things that are going to give us an x squared. For example, as a shortcut, I know that negative 6x and x, when I multiply those two together, would give me negative 6x squared. And then 5 and 3x squared is going to multiply together to give me 15x squared. So in total, when I sum those up, it's going to be 15x squared minus 6x squared, which is 9x squared. And that's equal to dx squared. So d would be equal to 9. But just if you're a little bit paranoid, you want to make sure, you could multiply out the whole thing. You don't have to, of course. I'm going to say that right now, because you're going to get a lot of extra terms that you don't need. But like x cubed times 3x squared is going to give us 3x to the fifth. X cubed times x is going to give us x to the fourth. And then negative 6x times 3x squared give us minus 18x cubed. Then that times x is going to be minus 6x squared. Then we're going to get plus 15x squared, and then plus 5x. And again, you see that you don't need to combine everything here. You just need to look at the x squared term, because that's what we're trying to find. We're trying to find the value of d. Sweet. So there's our final answer. D equals 9. These are starting to get a little bit more tricky. We've got a trig question up next. So the figure shows the mast of a boat that is installed perpendicular to the deck of the boat. The mast is secured by a rope that is anchored to the deck. Okay, so let's see. This is the deck. This is the deck here. Deck. And we've got the rope right here. We've got the mast right here. Let's just label it for us. The rope measures 17 feet long and makes an angle of x degrees with the mast. The point where the rope is attached to the mast is 15 feet above the deck. Yeah, that all checks out to the figure. They've actually labeled pretty much everything for us. What is the value of tangent of x degrees? Tangent. I see 66 has got answer already. And the answer is tangent of x degrees is equal to the opposite side over the adjacent, which I'm sure is why some of you guys got an answer of 8 over 15. Another thing to note is you can use Pythagorean theorem here to get the side length of the deck, right? It would just be a squared plus b squared equals c squared, or c squared minus b squared equals a squared, right? So we would get something like the missing side length is equal to 17 squared minus 15 squared. An even quicker way would be to realize that this is a Pythagorean triple. Pythagorean triple of 8, 15, and 17. Pythagorean triple. So if you see any of these three, or any of the two side lengths in a triangle, and it's a right triangle, you can actually, well, since it's perpendicular here, we know it's a right triangle. You can get the other side just by memorizing these numbers. Okay, I like that one. 20 is another interesting one. The circle shown has center -1, 1. Line T is tangent to this circle at point 4, 3. Which of the following points also lies on line T? Interesting. What are you guys thinking? Line T as tangent is a really interesting piece of information, because guess what? How do you guys know? What do you guys know about tangent lines to a circle? Perpendicular lines, yes. Find the slope using perpendicular lines. Yeah, because when you draw a tangent line to the circle, it's automatically perpendicular to the radius. And if we can find the slope of these 2 points, we can take the negative reciprocal and we can get the slope of line T, and we have a point on line T as well. So let's find the slope. Slope is y2, or let me do it like this, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So the slope here is -4/5. But that's the slope of this green line. We want the slope of the tangent line. Slope of the tangent line is going to be the negative reciprocal, which means that we're going to take -4/5 and make that +5/4. In the equation for this line, using point slope formula, because we have its slope and we have a point on that line, it's going to be y minus that -3 is equal to 5/4 x minus 4. Or let me simplify that a little bit. Y plus 3 is equal to 5/4 x minus 5. And finally simplified, we get y equals 5/4 x minus 8. So now all we have to do to check these points is plug them into our equation. If I plug in something like 0, 5/4. Okay, I plug in x equals 0, I get y equals -8. So a is not going to work. If I plug in x equals 3, we get 5/4 times 3, which is what, 15 over 4 minus 8. It's not going to equal 6. 5/4 times 8 for answer choice C would give us, actually let's try that one. Y equals 5/4 times 8 minus 8. That's equal to 10 minus 8, which is equal to 2. So that xy pair of x equals 8, y equals 2 should match for answer choice C. That is the correct answer choice. All right. Let's go to next question here, number 27. In the given equation, C is a constant. The equation has exactly two distinct real solutions. Two distinct real solutions is going to be underlined here by me because I think it's very important. Which statement about the value of C must be true? Must be true. 66 has got it. He's our mouth whiz. We are going to use the discriminant here. Discriminant. And that specifically is b squared minus 4ac. And when a discriminant is greater than 0, then that means we have two solutions. That's exactly what we want. That's the part underneath the quadratic formula that's under the square root. If we have this part greater than 0, then the plus or minus part of the quadratic equation would give us a plus solution and a minus solution. Two solutions, basically, which is what we want when we have two distinct real solutions. Discriminant here, so if we just look at the equation, that's our quadratic equation in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, we can identify our a, b, and c terms, right? A in this case is going to be 1, b is 6, and c is just c. So plugging all of those into our discriminant formula, it'll be 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times c, and remember we want that greater than 0. 36 minus 4c is greater than 0, essentially, or 36 is greater than 4c. Divide that out and you're going to get 9 greater than c, or just rewrite that as c less than 9. That gives us answer choice D. C is less than 9. What's next? Question number 30. There are 640 acres in 1 square mile. The area of a forest is increasing at a rate of 1 acre per decade. Which of the following is closest to the rate at which the area of the forest is increasing in square kilometers per decade? Oh, not too bad. Let's see. So we don't need to, okay, so we need to focus on the rate of 1 acre per decade. And we want to convert that into square kilometers per decade. So let's see. We start off with our units of 1 acre per decade. Let me physically write that out with both units. Our conversion rate is going to be, let's see, 640 acres in 1 square mile. We'll convert acres to square miles, and it will convert square miles into square kilometers, since those are the conversion rates that we've been given. 1 acre per decade times 640 acres per square mile. Actually, we want to multiply by 1 square mile, or 1 square mile per every 640 acres. Because then it'll cancel out the units of acres here. That will be really beneficial for us. Cancel out acres. What's next? Let's multiply by 1 kilometer for every 0.62 miles. But you'll notice that this isn't enough. I mean, we have square miles in a numerator up here, or miles squared. We divided by only one factor of miles, so it's not actually going to cancel any, it's not going to cancel out fully. What I need to do here is multiply by a second factor of 1 kilometer point over 0.62 miles. Because you'll see this miles squared will cancel with the double factor of miles in the denominator. And then we'll end up getting kilometers squared per decade as our final units. Let's see how that looks when we multiply everything out. We want to divide basically 1 over 640 times 0.62 times 0.62. And I need my calculator for this one. 640 times 0.62 times 0.62. I'm getting 0.0041. 0.0041, and that's kilometers squared per decade. So of course that's going to be matching up with answer choice D. I see another problem was pasted in here, so let me keep adding that to our community questions list. Don't need your hand in there. Copy that. 66 got a good question, but looks like not SAT, so I'll keep that for the next session. Yeah, next question is 33. A solution to the given equation is square root of k minus 1. What is the value of k? Okay. I mean, this looks oddly familiar to me. It looks kind of just like a alternate form of a solution from the quadratic equation. Yeah, we've got a couple people complaining about not being able to see the screen, so I'll reshare the screen. Does that work for you guys? Oh no. You guys want me to reshare again? I don't know why it's so buggy. Come on, you gotta see it now. Important thing is, Money Treehouse can't see. He's been sending all the questions. Maybe try rejoining, guys. Alright. Here, I'll post the questions, and then we'll see if we can get this problem fixed. Okay, again, we're on 33. Solution to the given equation is square root of k minus 1. Like I mentioned, this looks kind of like a form of the quadratic equation to me. So what I'm going to do is actually apply that, and that equation tells us that x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Well, we know our a, b, and c values. We can see that here a equals 1, b equals 2, and c equals negative 1. So if we plug that in, we'd get something like x equals negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 minus 4 times 1 times negative 1 all over 2 times 1. If we simplify that, we get negative 2 plus or minus the square root of, square root of 8 over 2. And square root of 8 is going to be 2 square root of 2, right? Because this, as an aside here, is a square root of 4 times the square root of 2. Square root of 4 is just 2. Okay, so we can simplify this even further to get it to match the form that they gave us. And that is, we divide that 2 and we get negative 1 plus square root of 2. Or square root of 2 minus 1. And of course, the value of k, which is what we're looking for, is just equal to 2. K equals to 2. Alright, so let me paste the next couple of questions in here. And keep going with the next one here. Oh, you guys are sending me good SAT questions. Let me add those all in. Alright, so this is the last one of my questions, and then we'll get into you guys' questions that you submitted. In the given equation, Q is a constant. The equation has no solution. What is the value of Q? No solution, I mean that just means that it's going to be unsolvable, which means that we're going to have some constant equal to another constant. So what I would do here is just try to find a value of Q such that everything on the left side cancels out. There's no x's or anything else like that. It just ends up canceling to a constant. And the value that I could see here, let's do it like this. Let's factor out x from this left side. So we'd get something like x times negative 9 plus 24q equals 36. Basically, if we want this to have no solution, the coefficient on x would have to be 0, because anything multiplied by 0 is 0. And then we want to get something like 0 equals 36. That would just be totally untrue. No matter what value of x we put, if this thing equals to 0, this is never going to be true. And what I see here is we want negative 9 plus 24q equal to 0, which means that 24q equals to 9, or that q is equal to 9 over 24, which is our final answer. Q is equal to 9 over 24. Not too bad, I think. Sweet. We got my number one fan, Money. Can you still not see the screen? Should I reshare? Alright. We've got a few more questions that were submitted. So while I'm cropping those, hang tight. I remember doing some of these SAT problems. I think we can get through all of them actually. I think we should be able to. Okay. I will reshare one more time. And if you guys can't see, someone can post the questions in the chat for you guys. English not today, but we will be in the future. God, these questions just keep getting larger. So this is the first question that was submitted to us, submitted to me. It says, in triangle ABC above, what is the length of AD? Immediately I see that this is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. 30, 60, 90 has a predefined set of side lengths, where this little guy is x, the longer leg is x root 3, and hypotenuse is 2x. So if this side is 12, by the way, this will form an equilateral triangle. It's 60, 60, and 60. This side is 12. This side is also 12. And then applying this little diagram that I have right here, we see that the shorter side is always half of the hypotenuse. So between A and D, it's going to be a length of 6. Yep, answer is B. So for those of you who can't see that, I'll post the solution. Oh, Warriors got it. Next question, number 6. System of equations above is satisfied by which of the following order pairs x, comma, y? Yeah, for this one, I'm just going to try different points until I find one that works. And I'm going to draw it out for you guys so you can I'm actually going to write it out so you guys can see. So let's try the first one. Negative 5 comma 4. We get 2 times negative 5 plus 4 equals 6. That's negative 10 plus 4 equals 6. That's not true. So we can rule out A immediately. Let's try the next one. 2 times 4 minus 2 equals 6. That's 8 minus 2 equals 6. So the first equation works. Let's try the second equation. 7 times 4 plus 2 times negative 2 equals 27. 28 minus 4 equals 27. That does not work. So both equations have to work if it's a system of equations and we were trying to plug in a point. Let's try third equation. 2 times 5 plus 4 equals 6. That's 14 equals 6. That's not true. So we'll rule out C as well. I mean, by process of elimination, that leaves only D, but we can just make sure that 2 times 5 minus 4 equals 6. That's 10 minus 4, which gives 6 equals 6. Definitely true. And then we also get, in the second equation, 7 times 5 plus 2 times negative 4 equals 27. That's 35 minus 8, which is 27. That's true. So again, answer choice D is the only one that matches. Okay. I've solved this one out before. This next one. I kind of remember it as being a little bit tricky. The figure above shows that the shaded triangular region with a hypotenuse of 5 has been removed from a rectangular tile dimensions x by y centimeters. Of the following, which best approximates the area in square centimeters of the tile before the piece was removed? Actually, this just seems like a bunch of 30, 60, 90 triangles. Remember, the 30, 60, 90 triangle looks something like this. If I can draw it straight. The small base is x, the hypotenuse is 2x, and this longer leg is x root 3. So we can start labeling some of this out to get the full area, or I guess the values of x and y. So if this is 5, that's the short leg. The hypotenuse here would be 10. and the longer leg would be 5 root 3. But this right here is also a 30, 60, 90 triangle, where the hypotenuse is 5 root 3. This part should be 5 over 2 root 3, and this part should be 5 over 2 times 3, which is 15 over 2. So we found the value of y by, we keep applying this relationship right here. We can also find the value of x. This is a 30, 60, 90 triangle as well, with a hypotenuse of 10, which means that this smaller leg has to be half that, has to be 5, and that the longer leg has to be 5 root 3. So we found the value of x as well. And the area of a rectangle is just the side lengths multiplied by each other, so it's x times y. So before that tile was removed, the area was 5 root 3 times 15 over 2. Who's got a calculator? 5 square root 3 times 15 over 2 is about 65. 65. So actually, not very bad at all if you guys apply your 30, 60, 90 triangle rules. Shall we keep going? For the PSAT, yes, you get a formula sheet, and it should be actually digital this year. PSAT will be digital. Which section tends to be harder? I don't know if anyone is harder than the other. I think they're pretty similar difficulty, but they can be sort of different in the content. Okay, we have more questions. Wait, I already have that one here. We'll get to that one. The next one someone already posted was number 18. The graph of a line in the xy plane passes through the point -2, k and crosses the y-axis or the x-axis at point -4, 0. The line crosses the y-axis at the point 0, 12. What is the value of k? Alright, come on. Easy, guys. We'll draw our axes, x and y. We'll plot our points. Well, we've got -4, 0, -4, 0, and we've got 0, 12, 0, 12, and we've got a point -2, k. Somewhere right here is -2, k. Since it's a line, it's going to have a constant slope. That slope is going to be exactly y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's going to be equal to 12 over 4. 12 over 4. It's got a slope of 3. So for every unit that we go up, or sorry, our rise over run is basically 3 over 1. For every unit that we go over on x, we go up 3. Over 1, up 3, over 1, up 3, over 1, up 3, over 1, up 3. Or we could say up 3 over 1. So if I'm moving over from -4 and I want to get to the point x equals -2, we're going to have to go up 6 and over 2. Just double all of these values. Yeah, it's kind of like a staircase. So of course, that point is going to be at -2, 6, or k equals to 6. Okay. More questions incoming. Try to reshare for you guys one more time. Seems like it's kind of random who gets to watch and who doesn't. What do we got here? Oh wait, did I not just do this one? I did. Alright, we'll do the hexagon one next. Custom crop. Yeah. Thomas is making a sign in the shape of a regular hexagon with 4-inch sides, which he will cut out from a rectangular sheet of metal, as shown in the figure above. What is the sum of the areas of the 4 triangles that will be removed from the rectangle? So the 4 triangles that are going to be removed here, 4 triangles, let me shade it in here, it's these cuts from the rectangle. The ones on the corners, the ones on the edges. So that shouldn't be too bad to figure out. I mean, we've got a side length of 4. We know it's a regular hexagon, so all the sides are 4. What do you guys think? One thing I would do is probably set up or split this hexagon into a bunch of equilateral triangles. If I draw it like this, I can actually get 6 equilateral triangles. Each one has a side length of 4. And let's just say, for example, I split one of the equilaterals in half. What do I get? That is going to be a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Like this. Where we have the 30 degrees, we have the 60 degrees, and we have the 90 degrees. Of course, remember, these have been coming up a lot, the 30, 60, 90s. X root 3, x, 2x. So, what I know is that this longer leg of the triangle is x root 3. And if this smaller leg is half of 4, just 2, that means the height of this is 2 root 3. And then from here to here, it's another 2 root 3. So the total height of this rectangular region is 4 root 3. And then the width. Well, we know that this here is 4, and this here is 4. So the total width is 8. 8. So the total area of the rectangle is going to be 8 times 4 root 3, which is 32 root 3. Yeah, you guys can suggest problems. Money Treehouse, thank you for the kind words. Glad to hear I'm your favorite tutor. Glad I can help you guys out. Total area here is 32 root 3. So all we have to do to find the area of the 4 triangles is just subtract out the area of the hexagon. Since I don't remember the formula for area of a hexagon, but I do know that these are 6 equilateral triangles. So the area of that is going to be 6 times 1/2 base times height, which was 6 times 1/2 times the base of one triangle is 4. The height of it was 2 root 3. So that's what? 24 root 3. This is the area of the hexagon. So the shaded region, shaded area, is just a difference between those two. It's 32 root 3 minus 24 root 3. That's going to be 8 root 3, which is A. Alright, looks like Preston, I already answered that question up here. I will post a recording as well if you want to go through the solution of that one. What do we got next? I see this one, the ordered pair, blah blah. Looks like from a knockoff SAT practice book. And then maybe I'll do Bia's problem that looks like it's from the AMC. And that would be our last one just due to time. But I promise I'll be back next week, guys. 4. The ordered pair 3, negative 1 satisfies which of the following inequalities? I mean, we can just check, right? Let me pick a better color than that. Like black. 3, negative 1. Let's just literally plug it in here and see if it works. 3 plus 3 times negative 1 is equal to 0. It has to be greater than 0, so of course I'm going to rule out number 1. It doesn't work. Second one, 2 times 3 plus 3 times negative 1. What does that equal? 6 minus 3 equals 3. That is greater than 2. So that one works. We'll mark that with a check. 2 works. Last one, x plus y is less than 0. So we get 3 plus negative 1. That's equal to 2, which is not less than 0. So I'm going to cross that one out as well. So the answer for this one is just going to be 2 only. Last problem that we've got for today is rectangle DEFA from, what was it, the AMC 8. Whew. Looks kind of tricky. Rectangle DEFA below is a 3 by 4 rectangle. I'm guessing this is the 3 and this is the 4, with DC equals CB equals BA equals 1. 1, 1, 1. The area of the bat wings is what? I see what we could do here. Area of the bat wings. Area of the bat wings is the total area minus the white area. Total area, let's see, total area of the rectangle is just 3 times 4, which is 12. The white area, because we don't want to calculate the black, that's a very complex shape, whereas the white area is made up of some smaller and easier triangles. The area of a triangle is always, area of a triangle, 1/2 base times height. So for this one, for example, it's 1/2 times 1 times 4. For this one, it's 1/2 times this one. I'm not sure of the height. Let's get back to that one. This one is 1/2 times base of 1 times height of 4. So like these ones, for example, the area of this one is 2. Area equals 2. For this one right here on the left side as well, it's just a mirror image. So the area equals 2. So far we got area of 12 for the whole thing. We've got an area of 2 for these smaller ones. We just need to figure out these other white triangles. I see that they're making, what I can do here is I can see or even draw another triangle that goes up to here from the corner. That one has a length of 2 right here, length of 4 right here. This one right here is the same thing. It's got a height of 4 and a side length of 2 from here to here. What might be easier for us is to subtract off some of those larger triangles. So, for example, the area of the bat wings is going to be this whole this whole larger rectangle minus this space right here, minus this, minus this, minus this. Area of the bat wings. Thinking what we can do here. Splitting it there might not be that useful, but we could split it to get, what if we split it down here? Okay, if we split it like this, what I can see from this sliver right here is this triangle goes exactly up to the halfway point here. It's all the way up here, and it goes down to here. So then in a sense, we are able to get I think my mic cut out there, but the height of this one would just be the sliver of 1. The base for this one would be 2. And then we can directly calculate the area of this segment, which is area equals 1/2 times base times height. So the area is 1. Splitting it down here as well, area of this one is 1. So 1, 1. And then we've got these two pieces in the middle, which I'm going to draw that out right here. It's going to look something like this. And it's basically two triangles with a base of 2 and a height of 1/2. So the total area here is 2 of those triangles times 1/2 times base times height. 2 times 1/2, so that's going to be 1. So the area in each sliver, right, I've split it up into these 3 kind of sections that look like this. You're going to have an area of 1, 1, and 1, so the total area should be 3. Would I take Math 55 at Harvard? Guys, I don't know. It's a tough class. This is the last question, yeah. That was a tough one. Thanks for submitting that. Had to come up with a clever solution for that. Thank you guys for attending. I'm going to be posting the answers to this and the recording on YouTube. Don't forget to check out my explore.danstestprep.com page. We're going to post everything on there, post everything on my YouTube. And of course, I'll see you guys next week with some reading and writing prep as well. The long awaited reading and writing prep.